Spring is in the air and things are starting to bloom. I've noticed here in the South, where we are in North Carolina, that some of the grass is starting to turn green again. We've got daffodils in full bloom, and it really gives me the urge to do some things around the house and inside of the house to really have those beautiful colors and the freshness of spring outside be reflected on the inside. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be sharing a few hacks in how to add those fresh, vibrant colors of spring, that freshness of spring to your home. Let's get to it.
Your front entry is the very first thing that people see when they arrive. So a great way to freshen up the house for spring is to freshen up the entryway. All those spiders and dust and all the little particles that kind of came around with wintertime and it was just too cold to clean up. Now's a perfect time to freshen up the front entry.
All right, so we've been at the house, we've freshened up the front porch, got it all nice and clean, and I've done some dusting after taking down all of those wintry things around the house. And there's some spring stuff that I already have, but I'm feeling like I want to freshen it up and add something new this year and maybe beef up some of the areas that look a little thin to me, just because some of the stuff that I had before is looking a little dingy and old and it needs to kind of go, because nothing says I'm not fresh and springy as something that's kind of faded and just doesn't clean up well anymore. So let's go inside and poke around the boutique and see what we can find. Okay, I know I want to use some of these for sure, and I know the specific place I want to use them. So what I've done when I was at the house and kind of cleaning and freshening things up and taking inventory of what I am going to use and what I'm not going to use, I'm looking at those areas where I need to fill something in, so that while I'm out and about and I'm shopping, I have a good idea of what I need to fill, so I know how tall, how fluffy, what color I'm kind of on the hunt for. And this yellow forsythia is absolutely perfect for my big tall blue urns that are flanking the fireplace. One, because I know that the stem is long enough to go all the way down to the base and still have a lot of the forsythia color kind of stacked high. So I know this will be perfect in height, and I really think the yellow will be beautiful against the blue, and just against the fireplace will kind of really bring that space to life. So I'm feeling that pops of yellow are going to be my accent for this spring season. So knowing that, I'm gonna grab a few of these stems for those tall urns, and let's kind of see what else maybe I can find with some yellow hues to it that I can add so that the eye draws around the room to those yellow accents. When you're out and about shopping, especially in a small boutique shop, every little square inch of the showroom gets used. So make sure you take a few laps and look around, because you might notice something like this. So this is kind of down and tucked behind, kind of out of the way, but super pretty. These white flowers are going to be perfect for my front door wreath. My front door wreath is just a green eucalyptus wreath. It's indoor, outdoor, but it's just kind of boring because it's just green, and I want to bring a little color to it, but kind of in an understated way. So I like this little bunch of white flowers. I'm thinking of nestling it into one corner and kind of doing a swag, incorporating the flowers into the greenery, which we'll see when we get back to the house. But I think I know I want this. it's a little wreath, and I have this silver candelabra. It's like branches, silver candelabra on my dining table, and I started putting some yellow and green in that kind of within the branches, but it's looking really thin. I feel like I need something to beef it up, and I think incorporating this will help that out a lot. Plus I think I'm gonna like the little hints of pink with the yellow. So little wreath for the win. Okay, here's the thing. When you're out and about shopping, especially in a small boutique shop, every little square inch of the showroom gets used. So make sure you take a few laps and look around, because you might notice something like this. So this is kind of down and tucked behind, kind of out of the way, but super pretty. These white flowers are going to be perfect for my front door wreath. My front door wreath is just a green eucalyptus wreath. It's indoor, outdoor, but it's just kind of boring because it's just green, and I want to bring a little color to it, but kind of in an understated way. So I like this little bunch of white flowers. I'm thinking of nestling it into one corner and kind of doing a swag, incorporating the flowers into the greenery, which we'll see when we get back to the house. But I think these are perfect for that. Okay, there's one flower that's in here that I think is super, super pretty. I'm not sure where I'm going to use this. So sometimes we just have to be spontaneous, right? The other things were planned in that I knew the spot that I needed things to go, and I hunted for them and I found the perfect thing for those spots. But there's a flower in here that I love. Come here. Follow me. I love this pink flower. I think it's so pretty. I love how the black stands out. I don't know where I'm gonna use it, if I'm gonna use it, or how I'm gonna use it, but I'm thinking I've gotta at least take one of these stems home and give it a try. I might need to come back for more, or I might not use it at all, but I gotta give it a try because I love it so much.
Once you have everything all freshened up, nice and clean and spotless, consider adding something to the front door. I'm going to be adding a wreath. I've got this great eucalyptus wreath that I'm going to add. I just keep a command hook on the front door. This has been up for years now, and I change out a wreath for fall, for winter, spring, summer. And this is going to be my staple wreath, but I feel like just a green wreath is kind of boring. So I've grabbed some of these off of my fall wreath because I kind of like the cream and the variegated leaf that it has. I think that adds nice color. And then I grabbed these at the boutique, and I'm thinking about adding those to the wreath as well. You can work this out on a flat surface if you want, but I feel like I'm going to work mine right from the door itself, just so that I know kind of where I want things placed and how I want it all to look.
So far, super simple. I just added those cream kind of berries or pods. But if you've noticed, I've kind of tucked them in asymmetrically. I've got this corner right here that's missing something, and that's where I'm gonna add these. I think I wanna kind of swag them into that spot and kind of trail up this way and down that way. So yes, I know the tag is still on it. I just wanna make sure I like it first before I completely commit. So I think what I'm gonna do,
All right, so I realized halfway in that yes, I am gonna keep it. So I really incorporated the white flowers into the wreath so that they kind of become one. I'm not really a ribbon kind of person. Some might want to add a ribbon right here. I'm just not that person. I like the plants themselves just the way they are, and I always like to kind of keep it simple. So I like the color. I like the bright happiness that it brings to the door, and I think this is going to be my wreath for this spring. Flanking both sides of the steps coming up to my entry, I've got these great big pots of plants, and these plants grow all year round, but I do want to add some things for spring. It's a little early to be doing that quite yet. So for right now, I'm just going to make sure that anything that died is removed and give them another good watering. I've been watering them. I water them about twice a week just to make sure that they stay healthy. But I do have one pot on my patio that didn't quite make it. This guy did not make it. It got cooked in the summertime because of the heat reflecting off of the house, and no matter how much I watered it, it just kept withering. It got infested with mites because it wasn't healthy, and then it really became toast over the winter. So nothing says go away or is uninviting more than a dead plant at the doorway. So I'm gonna remove this one. I might try another banana plant, or I might just have to do something else over here. This is the third plant I've tried in this spot, and I think it's just the heat reflecting off of the house. I just don't know that I can keep a plant alive in this little corner. So might have to rethink some things and change things out. Another super simple spot to add a little spring color is either on your dining table or your kitchen table. We talked about quick ways to make decorating changes in a previous video, which is linked down below. And the dining table or your kitchen table is so simple, just to add a little pop of spring. I like to change out my china every season in the dining room, and for this spring, I've chosen James's grandmother's china. I like the green, I like the little hints of pink. This is perfect for springtime. And I still have my staple centerpiece, which is the silver branches. And these are great because they're so versatile, but I had a whole wintry thing going on with them, but now it's time to freshen up for spring. So I'm gonna keep this super simple. I had picked up this little wreath from the boutique with this in mind. So I thought I would just add that over top like so, and then just throw in some of this yellow stuff that I've been using for years. You can see it's kind of falling apart, but I keep reusing this over and over. I like the bright green, I like the hints of yellow, so we're just gonna tuck that in and create a new centerpiece. And there we go, as simple as that. Within minutes, I have a sweet little centerpiece that works beautifully with the china and just adds a little touch of spring to the table. If you're new to the channel, you don't know about my obsession over cobalt glass. I have it everywhere in my house. I collect it as we're out and about antiquing. I always look for something a little unique. And a few years back, I found these amazing cobalt glass urns. Now I have two of them flanking my fireplace, and I style these up in different seasons, and it's time to spring them up. So the elements that are in there now, the lamb's ear, the branches, I leave those in year round. That's my staple for no matter what the season. And then I just change things up as the seasons come and go. So I've recently, at Christmas time, I have sparkly things in there and some pine branches, some snowy pine cones. And I've just removed the snowy pine cones and the pine branches. I leave those in. I take the sparkly out after Christmas, and then I just leave some wintry mix in there until about this time of year. So it was time to take all of that out, and now it's time to spring things up a bit. So I've decided that this spring, pops of yellow are going to be what I add to my decor in the living room and around the house to be my spring accent. So I picked up this great forsythia branch at the boutique, and I chose this particular one because I knew it would work with the tall urn. It's got a nice big long stem to it, and I know that it's gonna hit perfectly and give me that yellow height that I'm hoping for. Now, last year I had added this guy to the mix, and this gives kind of a hint of yellow with some green as well. So I think filling those together are going to be really nice inside the urn, just to give a little hint of spring without going over the top. Doesn't the yellow look gorgeous against that blue? The idea is to tuck it back in so that it incorporates itself with everything else that's going on. So I'm just going to take some of the things that I've got inside and just kind of spread those around. Here's the thing. When you bring these branches home, you don't want to just leave them flat. That's how they come in the box. So the idea is to kind of fluff and bend and make everything kind of work and gel together, because in nature, the branches are not flat and straight, right? So we want to give them a little more natural vibe and work them into the space. And then I got this little guy that I tuck right in the front, and he kind of fills and trails to hide all the stuff that's going on at the base. I think these are perfect just the way they are. Again, keeping it just super simple. All I did was kept my staples in and added those 2 extra stems per urn just to add some accents of yellow for spring. Another great little antique find that I have are these old medicine bottles that I picked up from an antique shop, super cheap. I have 3 of them, two of the smaller sizes and then one of the larger size. And I think I'm gonna put these up on the mantle as well. I've got these 2 great tall blue glass candlesticks. And so I'm just gonna be accenting the fireplace surround with this blue glass and yellow flower. So put these up here like so. And I want to add, again, just that pop of yellow and make it super simple. I felt like the tall one just needed a little extra something, so I took some of that yellow green stem stuff that I used on the dining table as well and just added that to give it a little extra height and make it look just a little fuller, a little different. There we go. fireplace, living room space. Done. Within a matter of minutes, we've got a nice spring vibe going on with the blue glass with the yellow. I added this little vase. I love its shape, and I just felt like I needed to balance out the blue and put some blue on this side as well. And again, added some of that sprig of the same stuff that I used in the tall planter over here, the tall little bottle. And we've got blue and yellow accents for spring.
I hope these few hacks were helpful for you and maybe giving you some creative ideas in what you might do to freshen up your home for spring. It really is just a few touches, a few little additions that really do make a big difference, transitioning from those cozy wintry months to those fresh, bright spring days. Thank you so much for watching the channel. If you like what you saw, please remember to hit that subscribe button as we're trying to grow our little channel. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and make sure you comment below if there's something that you've done around your house that you would like to share, that you freshen up for. If there's something that we've shared that you really enjoyed, let us know. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.